Hey, from Fracture Headlines, we're going to talk today about the shortage of teachers in America, and I've got extensive notes to uh, to make this video. Here's one third of them. Here's another third of the notes, and here's the other third. So I'm just going to work my way from one little piece of paper to the next and see where this takes us. First of all, I am a retired school teacher. I taught for a little more than 20 years, I guess. I came to it from a different field and made a career switch back in my 40s. I'm 70 now, and I retired last year. I'm happy to be out of it. I did enjoy it very much. Certain aspects of teaching. There's a good feeling when a student learns something and that they've learned it. They're happy that they learned it, and they're going to be able to use that whatever it was that they learned later on in their life. However, those feelings of satisfaction are sadly far and few between for many of us in the classroom. Let's start out with the overview right here. According to the Learning Policy Institute, in a brief published in June of 2025, there are nearly 400,000 teachers in the United States currently working who are not certified in the area in which they are teaching or in which they are not yet certified or undercertified. Um, that represents a nearly one in eight, roughly one in eight teacher, uh, one in eight of the teachers are not certified for what they're teaching. So you've got PE teachers who are teaching math and other strange combinations. English teachers who are somehow being forced to teach math like that. Okay. Um, the pipeline for teachers is shrinking. There are fewer people going into education in school. They've realized that the pay is not going to be that good and the working conditions are going to be pretty rough. So let's talk about 10 ways that we can make we can make this teacher shortage go away. Oh, let's start with this. Everybody says the same thing about pay and benefits. Teachers are not paid nearly enough. Now, I've heard the criticism that you teachers are you're glorified babysitters. You're just you got the summer off and you know you're sitting in a room and you're babysitting a bunch of kids. Well, if that's the case, if you've got 30 kids in a room, 30 students in a room, and let's say $5 an hour for babysitting, which is pretty low, but maybe that's what your 12-year-old babysitter charges to take care of your 3 and 4 year olds. Um, let's just be really kind and say it's only $5 an hour babysitting. You got 30 kids. Well, that's $150 an hour. So at $150 an hour, your teacher shortage is going to disappear because you're actually paying your babysitters a fair amount of money. Of course, realistically, a babysitter these days is probably making 10 or $15 an hour. So let's say it's $10 an hour times 30 kids, and that's $300 an hour, and it's an 8-hour day, so $2,400 a day. I'm not a math teacher, but you can do the math, and that turns into a real strong six-figure job, and nobody's going to want to walk away from that for babysitting, right? So we can put that to rest. Um, the benefits, I think most schools are offering health insurance, that sort of thing. The retirement, the pension, a lot of schools are stinting on the retirement pension, but the pay is a number one concern for many people. Working conditions comes in pretty close behind that. It's pretty well known that there's a very short break between classes, and if a teacher wants to use a bathroom, they got to make a mad scramble as soon as that bell rings. In my case, I taught at a school one time. Almost 20 years ago now, and there was a 4-minute break between classes, and after everybody left the room, and hopefully everybody did leave the room, I could quickly lock the doors, make a mad scramble to the nearest bathroom, use that bathroom to take a leak, and get back into the classroom to unlock the doors before the next class came around. But, you know, God have mercy on your soul if some kids stuck around behind after class and asked a few questions, and your opportunity to make a run to the bathroom would disappear. There are other things about the working conditions which are also onerous, but for me that was one of the most irritating things. There's so little time between classes. Um, A lot of times, also these days, teachers call in sick, and rather than have a substitute, somebody will come to your class and say, "Hey, could you cover Mrs. Smith's third grade or third period class? I know you've got a planning, you've got a planning and grading free period that time. So could you come and cover Mrs. Smith's class at that time?" Well, there goes your planning, and there goes your grading hour or your period, or a chance to go to the bathroom and take a leisurely whatever. Um, that's gone. So that's part of the working conditions there. Prep and support. Teachers are not nearly well prepared enough for what they're going to face in a classroom. There's a kind of a rosy, you put the rosy glasses on when you're at the university, and there's a lot of things that turn out not to be true once you get to school. For example, uh, I don't think most teachers are prepared for the fact that their students are not going to be working at grade level, and you've got individual educational plans that kind of sabotage whatever it is you plan for the class at large. There are you end up making 4, 5, 6 lesson plans, maybe more, for each class, and it gets rather tiring. I'm going to call that number two, working conditions. Number three was prep support. Number four, mentoring. A lot of times teachers are just thrown into a classroom. God bless and good luck to you, and hope you do okay. Somebody might drop by once in a while, see how you're doing, but as far as kind of keeping track of what works for you and what doesn't work for you and what might work for you, the mentoring can be rather sketchy or non existent. Number five on my list is professional development. And I'm going to go this way with that. Let's have less professional development, not more. Teachers have already gone through a university program that prepared them to be teachers. The last thing you need is to have a bunch of additional requirements tacked on all the time so that you spend way too much time sitting in front of a computer screen in some idiotic Zoom meeting with folks down at the Board of Education office, reviewing things that you already know, or learning things that you're not going to learn, or that you're not going to use, or mastering software that's going to be replaced by other software in the following year. A lot of school boards are really school boards and Department of Educations are enamored with professional development. Less is more. Don't pile that stuff on. Uh, and that's true for the recertification also. Hey, if you're a teacher, you're a teacher. You're going to learn through experience. You don't need to have additional requirements piled on all the time. I'm going to call that number five, professional development. Um, Number six is near and dear to my heart, and I'm gonna try to get a lot of stuff in here. Expand or improve recruitment pathways for teachers. There are plenty of folks out there with really valuable experience, especially those who are working in the technical fields, who know about engineering and know about math and that sort of thing. They should be able to get into the classroom with a minimum of requirements. Um, I'm going to add in here the idea of reciprocation. Now, in my own case, I've looked at some jobs in different states and I thought, hey, that looks interesting. I wouldn't mind teaching in that state. And then one of the requirements is must hold a name your state certification. Um, that is a barrier to movement from one state to another to teach. Uh, States that have a shortage of teachers should say we welcome teachers with certifications from other states. There is some reciprocity. I can tell you this: I'm licensed to teach in the state of Florida, and this is my little list right here of the states that offer a full reciprocity. Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, and Oklahoma. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 states. That tells me that 40 states are going to put me through some weird hoops to jump through in order to teach in their state, or they're just not going to hire me in the first place. Now, like I say, I'm retired and I'm not really looking too hard to get back into the classroom. I might be lured in if some incredible offer came along, but it's, It's for me, it's not a big concern anymore. But some states are not even this generous. They only have a handful of other states that that they have an agreement with reciprocity, recognizing the certification of a teacher from another state. That's a biggie right there. Um, hey, there was a time I would have been happy to teach in West Virginia. I love the mountains, and I know that West Virginia is constantly looking for teachers. I get in my email, there's teaching opportunities in West Virginia, lots of them. But you must hold a West Virginia certificate in the appropriate area. And West Virginia doesn't pop up on this list right here, even though they're crying out for teachers. Sorry, folks, can't help you. I mean, realistically, are you going to go to another state and you're going to take a whole bunch of college courses to get recertified in their state? What happens when their budget goes haywire and you get laid off? Now you've got a West Virginia teaching certificate, but you want to go teach in, let's say Oregon. Oh, Oregon's got a whole. Oh, you got to story. You got to study Oregon history before you can teach in Oregon. Come on, really? Teaching is teaching, whether you're teaching in Oregon or Colorado or Oklahoma or New York or Connecticut or South Carolina. The things that the kids need to learn are quite similar from state to state, and so these states that think that they're special. Every state thinks it's special. Oh, well, we got a special thing going on here. Just like schools always think they're special too. Yeah. Well, things are different here. This school is special. Things are different here. Not so much. Not so much. So I'm going to call that number 6. Expand, improve recruiting pathways. Number 7 is a great one. Loan forgiveness. Right now, you can get loan forgiveness. Of course, going to the university is expensive. It's crazy expensive. It doesn't need to be. There are countries that offer free education to people who want to go to the university. I think of Germany as one of the world's leaders in that regard. And not by any coincidence, Germany has an extremely well educated workforce. Gosh, no surprise there. If you get to go to the university for free, you would have a very uh, educated workforce. Now, wouldn't you? There are other countries that also realize the value of a university education or technical training, whatever it is, and they offer it for free. So, loan forgiveness. Let's say you decide you're going to be a teacher. Well, loan forgiveness applies for teachers, some teachers who go into low income, high risk areas, and they're teaching where students normally would have a difficulty getting good instruction because the teachers who maybe are a little better at teaching or know their field better are going to richer suburban schools, or they're going to private schools. They're going somewhere where they're going to face less grief, where it's less of a battlefield. Um, why not have loan forgiveness for each and every person who goes into the field of education? Never mind where you go and teach. I mean, let's look at it this way. Let's say you get a job in some upscale, ritzy community where the facilities are top notch, and maybe even the students are hardworking and they care about what they're doing every day when they come to school. Well, you're going to have to live there. You're going to have to pay rent or buy a house or something. You're going to have to pay the local taxes and all that stuff. It's going to be more expensive. I'm thinking of the teachers trying to make a living in Silicon Valley. Some of them are living in their cars, for Christ's sake. That's ridiculous because the cost of living is so high. Let's have loan forgiveness for each and every person who goes into the field of education, shall we? At least until this teacher shortage is is eliminated. Number 8, supplies, books and supplies. I taught at a school in Florida, a brand new school, brand new facility, and they spent $2 million on the football field, football uniforms, football gear, footballs, of course, a football coach, and all that. And when I got to my classroom, I'm an English teacher. There was one set of used, hand me down textbooks from another school, another era, that all 7 of my classes had to share. Kids couldn't take home the English textbook because there was only one to be shared among 7 students. Hey now, that's not right. Let's not prioritize sports over actual education. Yes, it's nice to throw balls and catch balls and throw balls through hoops and all that kind of stuff. That's fun, But let's face it, very few of our students are going to make a career out of catching, throwing balls, kicking balls, all that kind of thing. They're not going to make a living doing that. That's just a fun thing you do as a hobby. And so schools that prioritize sports and spend their money on sports facilities and equipment and short the classroom, whether it's supplies for the science teachers to do experiments or whether it's textbooks or whatever the supplies are that are required for the classroom. Teachers who dip into their own pockets to buy stuff for the classroom when they're only making 50, 55,000, that's ridiculous. There's no point in that, or even less. I mean, there are still school districts paying, 38, 40,000 to start, which is pretty hard to live on these days. So yes, supplies. There are schools that will count how many pieces of paper you use in a printer. You have a certain allotment. Beyond that, you're locked out, or you've got to pay for it yourself. That kind of stuff. Um, nickel and diming the teachers on supplies. We're calling that number 8, and we're 60 minutes into this video. I'm going to try to keep it at a fast clip. Number 9 is particularly pertinent these days. Teachers are getting persecuted for what they put on social media. Um, the last I heard, the First Amendment right applies to teachers as well. And when we are not in the classroom and we are expressing our own personal opinions, um, we still have freedom of expression, and we also have freedom of association, who we hang out with and the things that we talk about. Those should not come up in any evaluation of a teacher or in grounds for firing, that sort of thing. Um, I mean, there are probably some situations which are extreme, but we had the Charlie Kirk situation not too long ago, where a prominent debater of underclassmen in tents was assassinated. I shouldn't even say assassinated. He was shot and killed. Okay, assassinations are for important political figures. This guy was you know, on the world stage, in the context of history, he was a bit player, and condolences to his family and all that. But some people really didn't like the guy, and they didn't make any secret of it. Well, you have the right to express your opinion, and there were a few teachers who lost their jobs because they expressed an opinion regarding Charlie Kirk. That was wrong. Shouldn't be that way. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9 was freedom of expression. Oh, number 10. Number 10. I talked about 10 reasons, 10 ways to alleviate the teacher shortage. Let's call it number 10 is simplify substitute teaching. Right now, it's a lot easier to drag your sorry ass into school and teach when you're sick than it is to prepare a full set of lesson plans, including the IEP, individual educational plans for for your kids who require a special set of circumstances in which to learn. It's a big job to put together a sub package. This is what's and it's not like you can just toss a generic package at the school either. It's like, if I'm sick, show this movie and make popcorn. No, it's not like that. It's more like, well, we're up to chapter 9, and we're discussing irony and satire, or whatever it is, and where we have these handouts, and this it has to be coordinated with this technology, and to create a lesson plan right before you're sick for the substitute teacher to follow, and they're not going to follow it anyhow. They're not going to follow it. It's a lot easier just to be sick and come to school. Why would you make yourself an extra job of putting together that crazy sub package uh, when you could just come to school and instead be sick and tell the kids, "Hey, I'm sick. There's not much going to happen today. Read your books, watch this movie." It's a lot easier to come in and be your own sub than it is to prepare a sub package, a substitute lesson plan. In many cases, you ask any teacher, is it easier to prepare a sub plan or to come in and work when you're sick? They're gonna tell you, hey, unless I'm knocking at death's door and I'm breathing through a tube lying on a hospital bed, I'm going to go ahead and come in sick because preparing the sub plan will take hours of work, and it's unnecessary busy work, especially considering that most teachers do show up on a real regular basis and don't use their sick days. Um, a lot of them leave those sick days on the table. All right, so there's 10 ways to take care of the teacher shortage. My favorite, uh, my pet peeve is the reciprocity situation. There's no reason why Alabama needs you to have an Alabama teaching certificate. Alabama's no better than Mississippi, you know, no better than Louisiana. They don't have any special set of circumstances there that require you to learn Alabama history or, uh, you know, methods of teaching in specific to Alabama. It's not that way. It's not that way. If you get a teaching certificate in any of the 50 states, it should work in any of the 50 states. That would go a long way to providing opportunities for mobility. Hey, you've got situations where one spouse receives a job offer. Say, you got a job offer in California. Well, then maybe the husband or the wife was teaching. Suddenly, they're not qualified to teach in California because they don't have a California teaching license. And meanwhile, California is looking for teachers, and they're putting unqualified people in the classroom to cover those classes, but there's not much you can do about it. This is Fractured Headlines. I take a look at things that interest me and things that I think could use some fixing around the United States. And if you like what you heard, you know what to do. Hit that old like button, hit the subscribe button. If you didn't like it, hey, oh well, make a comment. Tell me where I'm wrong. And meanwhile, have a great day. I'm going to push that little red button over there and stop this video. I mean it. Have a good day. Have a great day.